So in this episode of Retro Funhouse, we take a look back at not just Christmas, but an 80s Christmas.
So the boy fell asleep in the Toys R Us store, and he woke up with toys from the ceiling to the floor.
So this is a video, guys. If you don't know who this is Heidi. This is my wife. She's hardly ever in any of the videos, but she's always usually there with us on locations when we film and stuff. But this episode, she's here with me because, one, we grew up in a time that is the greatest decade to be a kid growing up, and it is the what?
80s.
The 1980s is when we grew up as kids. A lot of fun. And if you're watching the video and you grew up in the 80s, drop us a comment. Let us know some of the fun things you remember growing up. We're just going over some of the fun things between one, and first off, the ads. The TV commercial ads for anything in the 80s when it came to this time of year with Christmas. I mean, there were all kinds of ads. Cereal ads, toys, department stores. I mean, everything was aimed at kids and toys and to get your attention. Games. You know, McDonald's and all that stuff. They had ads that were aimed at kids. One of my favorites was Ronald McDonald ice skating. It was a lot of fun.
Happy holidays.
Also, one that you'll probably see a clip is the Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble. And they're with Santa Claus and.
Oh, here comes you know who. Yabba dabba fruit, delicious do. Ho, 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 I'm hungry. Santa, my pebbles. Your pebbles. 'Tis the season to be sharing, Fred. Happy holidays, pal. Oh, Fred.
But Heidi has one that she remembers that clicked in my head. That was like, that was a really good commercial.
The Campbell Soup commercials. A kid ends up as a snowman and all cold and then coming in and just being warmed up by the Campbell Soup.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing melts away the cold like a delicious hot bowl of Campbell Soup.
And of course, the greatest commercial for any kid that was always fired up for when it came on was the Toys R Us commercial, because it really was a place where a kid can be a kid, store made for kids, and if you were a kid in the 80s, that was the goal, to even go, just to go into a Toys R Us would be just a lot of fun.
Yes.
Bikes to trains to video games, it's the biggest toy store there is.
Gee whiz.
I don't want to grow up, 'cause baby, if I did, I couldn't be a Toys R Us kid. More games, more toys, oh boy, I want to be a Toys R Us kid.
So that was just some of the ads I can actually remember off the top of my head. There were many more ads that came out in the 80s that were just really just throwbacks. I mean, besides even commercials that would come out in the 80s during Christmas time for just the toys. There were always toy commercials for every big hit of a toy, whether it was G.I. Joe or My Little Pony or
Transformers.
Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yeah, there were so
Strawberry
many.
Shortcake.
I mean, you name it, it was out there. Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters. I mean, there were so many great cartoons, Muppet Babies, that came back out and have been redone. Some of them are pretty good, some of them aren't, but we're not talking about what's out now that's been remade. The classics are the classics. And some of the other things, of course, the Sunday paper, you get all the ads. And I know one thing I did, I'd get the ads, I'd get a pen or a marker, and I'd start circling everything I wanted. And honestly, every year for Christmas growing up, I was lucky to get maybe one or two, if three of those items, and then some other random things. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So
Socks for Christmas every year. Socks.
Socks, underwear, and you're just like, all I want is toys. Why can't I have the He-Man? Or, the Ghostbusters, or the Muppet Babies, or
Transformers,
G.I. Joes. I mean, there were so many. And there's probably some that I can't remember. The GoBots. I mean, those actually did get GoBots, but not during Christmas. It was weird. But there were other things that we can remember with Christmas, like Christmas Eve, knowing that gifts are going to be out there the next morning. I know for me, Christmas Eve, I was lucky to get any sleep.
I remember almost every single year when I was a kid and even into teenage years, we would listen to a Christmas Carol, and they would start at about 7 or 8 at night, and they would end at midnight. But that was what we always watched as wrapping Christmas presents for family and stuff.
Yeah. it was a lot of great memories. I mean,
Yeah.
waking up Christmas morning and opening gifts and just hoping and hoping and hoping you got one of the gifts from the ads that you saw in commercials or in the newspaper. I know one thing I wanted many times that I didn't get. I actually got maybe 2-3 Christmases ago the Ecto 1 car from the Real Ghostbusters. I actually got that a few years back. And that brought tears to my eyes because I never got it. It was something I wanted. And as a grown-up now, I've been able to collect, if you're a toy collector, been able to collect a lot of the toys that I didn't have. And just to have them on a shelf and say, I've got them, it's cool. And, you know, let my kids play with if they ever really want to. And there's just so many memories of, you know, being with your siblings and, you know, even the way your Christmas tree was decorated. You know, we don't decorate trees like we used to. I remember we used a lot of the silver tinsel that you could toss on top. I think I have a picture of an old tree, what an old Christmas tree would look like. And in this picture, I remember our tree was pretty similar. It was just covered in the silver tinsel. I mean, we would buy boxes of this stuff and throw it, and it looked like a giant foil, you know, just aluminum foil. It was, Christmas trees even then were bad compared to what we have now, but it just,
homemade ornaments or ornaments that have lasted and been collected every year and put on the tree. So,
and even with the fact of just being ready for Christmas break, because one, you knew you were going to hang around with the neighborhood friends of yours if you had them. You were going to be outside playing. You were going to be talking with your friends about what you hoped you got. And, you know, and then even afterwards, you would see kids outside in the streets on Christmas Day riding their bikes or flying around their G.I. Joe jets or, you know, riding around on, playing around with I remember there were kids in my neighborhood, they had the My Little Ponies. They were girls, of course. And, you know, just everyone showing off what they got. And then when you went back to school, everyone talking about, you know, what great stuff you got, what, you know, but you were always really careful not to talk about the things you got that you didn't want, like socks.
or underwear.
Or shirts that didn't fit. But still, it was a lot of fun. Nothing better than growing up in the 80s.
It was a neat time. Yeah.
So other than that, guys, we just wanted to share really quick, since we both grew up in the 1980s, just some of our memories of, you know, TV ads, newspaper ads, memories of growing up, fun stuff that we got. If there's anything, guys, maybe we missed that you did, that you remember, let us know in the comments. And share some of your great memories of growing up in the 80s as a kid, and just things that you just held on to that's just part of your life and part of your childhood. And we're happy for the things we had, family, and the fun stuff that we got. And to be able to just talk about that now was a lot of fun. So stay tuned, because we've got another episode we'll be doing here really soon, hopefully before Christmas. Right?
Christmas movies?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about fun retro Christmas movies and
the TV specials.
TV specials. If you remember, there were tons of TV specials back in the day. Some were good, some were not so good. Some when I was growing up, I thought they were from the 80s, and they were actually from like the 60s or 70s that they still show today. So
yes, some are still today.
So stay tuned for that episode, guys. That'll probably be one you'll see majority of the crew here. We're going to be talking about just the fun Christmas movies you remember from the past, and of course TV specials. And we hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, share, leave us a comment. All important though, make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Yes.
Join the Funhouse, Retro Funhouse. This has Ben
and Heidi.
Merry Christmas. We'll see you in the second Christmas special, Retro Christmas, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Love growing up with my Toys R Us kid. Toys R Us. You'll never outgrow us.